Okay, so it looks like it's 9:30 and it's a Wednesday night, and I hope everyone had a great week. We, of course, are starting a new portrait in India ink and airbrush with some white India ink and pastel. It's going to be really good on this cardstock paper. Very exciting stuff. So this is something I think we're all going to enjoy, that's for certain. Now, double checking to make sure that we have our live chat. So as always, give me a few moments. I just have to give authorization. I have some exciting news about some additions to my airbrush arsenal, which is not your normal addition. So I think you guys are going to find that very interesting. Just give me a few moments. This way I can see you guys. I got the password right. So far so good. All right. Bam. So Jake, how you doing? Good to see you. Glad you're the first one here. That is so cool. Thanks a lot for coming and hanging out. So today we're starting off fresh, and it's very interesting because we have this picture here, but I haven't made the decision whether or not I want to have this detail or have it basically this edge just sort of blend in with the background. So that's what we're looking to do. Hey, you're doing great things with that Pennywise painting. Sounds fantastic, and it looks great too. And that's so Wendy asked if I'm having the video tonight, but I can't get to Facebook, so hopefully she'll go ahead and jump on over to YouTube, I hope. Let's see. So if you can, if anyone's out there, shoot Wendy a quick message letting her know that we are live streaming tonight. So what I want to do here today is go ahead and start utilizing some white, because we have this beautiful white here. And I don't think the pastel would actually give justice to the value and also the texture. So that's why right now we're going to go ahead and utilize some of that white pastel, and we're going to use a new airbrush today, and this is the Extreme Patriot Arrow by Badger. And so I'm excited to roll this baby out. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and mix our white, and with white it isn't so much, yes, values, Jake, definitely. Isn't so much a formula, as more like, you know, let's get a little bit thicker than skim milk. And of course we're going to use the Bombay by P.H. Martin. So that's going to be, that airbrush was from Badger. So it's a nice little brush, definitely. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and maybe about 3 or 4 drops here, maybe a little bit more. Now this is pretty thick to start out with. And we're going to take our eyedropper, and we're not going to be so exact. That's for certain. We don't want to be so exact here. So let's go to a different camera that might give us a better view here. Not that one. Let's see this camera here. So we can just see, you know, how I'm just putting in some water there. I'm going to shake it up. You see, it's kind of like, I would say like milk. Not skim milk, but regular milk. I think that's probably what we're looking at. So let's see. Let's just double check. Oh, I got this a long time ago. I got this with the Sotar. Yeah, Ken was nice enough to let me see how I like it. So that's pretty cool. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to fill up. Now, one of the things you want to do when you have airbrushes like this that have the top, please go ahead and cover that up. That's very important. And we could go ahead and remove the nozzle. Make sure this is tight. And we're going to just go ahead and test our flow here. Now this has this high trigger, which is pretty cool. It takes some getting used to, but I can definitely see how you get more control with it. Okay, so here we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Kneaded Eraser and I'm just going to get rid of some of these harsh lines. Okay, now the thing is with white on paper, it actually needs to catch up to the surface. So it might look like you're not doing anything, but in reality you are, because it takes a while. When the actual paint dries, it actually, the white sort of comes together. The white, when it dries, the white sort of shows itself, not when it's wet. And of course this is India Ink white we're using by P.H. Martin. Now this is beautiful because it has a rather large nozzle, so it's great for larger areas. What we're going to do is we're going to wait for that white to catch up, meaning I don't want to go ahead and actually oversaturate that surface. And notice the projection, Jake. It's hardly anything. I didn't project anything. A lot of the drawing I'm going to be doing on my own. This is just very generalized. I'm going to be doing a lot of the work down the line. And once again, you want to make sure that you go ahead and catch up the ink to the surface, meaning let it dry before you go over it again. That's crucial. And I'm not putting highlights. I'm putting this tone here. It's a lot lighter. Kiva, how are you? Good to see you. So today we're showing off the Extreme Patriot Arrow, Kiva, which is, we're just showing it off for the application of the white India ink. And then we're going to go back to our Sotar Slim. Hey Brian, good to see ya, aka Christian. How you been, man? So right now, thank you, sir. So right now we are sort of working in that white. We're no rush, never in a rush. Always take your time. Always, always, always. So I want to show you guys something cool. Look at this. Dun dun dun. Let me see. Look at that. Bam! That actually, see that? It keeps my fingers going, you know? Oh, so Christian, you're tired. All right, that's good. I'm glad you made it, man. So I hope we get some good information to you. Now with white ink, you're going to have some more tip dry than with the Black India ink. Just be aware of that. So as you see, guys, it's I'm building up that white, because if I was going to just start going India ink, how would I get this white value? I would have nowhere to go. So you got to make sure that you establish your light and dark values when you can. Now I do stress when you can. So you see, when I first lay down the India ink, it appears like nothing's there, but when it dries, that's when the white comes. It's very interesting. Can't really explain it. And with the white India ink, you want to make sure there's no pencil lines underneath that you can't live with. Hey, Norm, how you doing? Look at that. See? Actually, this is from... Now, I got to tell you guys of a new purchase I did. Okay, while I'm doing that, I'm just going to show you really quick. So, can anybody tell me what this is? If you guys... I'm sure you guys know what it is. I was the only one that was in the dark. So, and then it comes with this. It's a graphics tablet, and it's going to be used when I learn Photoshop and Corel Paint and all that, and that's going to be used for developing paintings, changing light sources, doing all kinds of things. Seeing what my painting will look like to... Thanks, Kiva. That is so true. Yeah, it is. I am very cool now, that's for sure. Look at that. But with that tablet, I'm going to be able to go ahead and manipulate photographs to get backgrounds I want. It's really quite exciting, guys. Now, Photoshop is really hard work. I mean, I'm going to take an online course, because I'm usually good at learning programs by myself. I don't really need the help of teachers, but I really think the learning curve is really rough. So I'm definitely going to go ahead and make sure that I take some online classes with that. Because okay, here's a question for you guys. What do you guys think of digital painting? Do you think it's taboo? Do you feel it's an art form in itself? What do you guys think? And sometimes when I'm doing that, I feel like I'm not even painting. I feel like I feel guilty. I should be painting. Isn't that funny? And So Norm says, I agree, Photoshop is tricky. Kiva says she agrees Photoshop is tricky. Norm says, hi Kiva, Photoshop masking is really powerful. Yes, that's true. And if we can do that to make our airbrush paintings better, that would be a great tool, wouldn't it? Now, even though I'm establishing this white, the India ink will go over it really nicely. It's just we want to make sure we don't have any harsh pencil lines. That's the one thing we're worrying about. So yeah, Jake says that for online it is necessary, and for designing my website and for designing Ink Flingers, the online store, and I want to do all that myself, so I think learning digital painting is really important in Photoshop. Now, always make sure that we are getting tone. It's kind of hard with white, that's for sure. And I really like the way that this Patriot is atomizing the white India ink. It's really great. So Kiva says learning any kind of art form is always a leg up in her opinion. I agree, and it just we have to open up, right? Open up to what can help us. So what do you feel, Norm? What's your thoughts on digital painting? Do you do it? If not, why? Are you thinking of doing it in the future? Just stuff I'd like to know. Your opinion and everything. I was going to do Lauren from The Walking Dead, but I could not find a suitable picture that I felt strong enough to translate with the India ink method. So I figured I'll do something, talk about my use of composition, the reason why I chose it, that sort of thing. So this glove I got with my tablet, I got it from Amazon, and when I learn more, I'm definitely going to share that with you guys. We're just going to pull that over, and let's go ahead and extend some of that white to her neck area here. So Jake says he loves that movie, King Bob. Is that the one you were talking about earlier this week? I think yesterday or the day before, Jake? About the artist who lost his ability to paint? And as we go, you can see we're just developing that white. And that white is going to be our basis. Philip, good to see you. How you doing, man? California's in the house. All right. Too cool. Too cool. Jake's talking about the Minions film. That's pretty funny. King Bob, huh? Gotta check it out. And as you see, when we're putting in that white, it's so crucial to make sure that... Hey, how you doing, Wendy? How you doing? What's going on? Wow, so Wendy, you were having trouble getting to my page and then to YouTube? Oh man, I'm glad you made it. I was already live streaming, so I asked someone else to email you. Hopefully you got the email notification. Oh yeah, definitely. So here's the reference photo. And let's look at that side by side. So as you can see, I did project it, but I didn't go crazy. I still want to do a lot of the drawing myself. More me, less mechanics, and that's what I want to start teaching more and more. So are you here now, Wendy? You're okay? It's working? I hope so. I'm so sorry you had trouble. Oh, you know what it is also? Oh, that's right. I've been running late, so I didn't even get a chance to go ahead and put that link or that I'm doing, and it was just crazy with work, and then I had to figure out because I couldn't use Lauren because Lauren was from The Walking Dead. The photo just wasn't good enough, so that's what we had to do. We had to go ahead and I had to change the picture, then project it, decide not to project it too much. So I made some decisions. So that's why I barely made it on 9:30. I made it at 9:30 just on the dot. I had some technical issues around 9:15, so I was struggling with that. Oh, so Wendy says now on YouTube it won't let you talk. Says I've talked too much. Oh my goodness, that's horrible. That is just ridiculous. Ugh. I don't know. You know, all this technology, Wendy, is still very new, and I just think that sometimes they just leave things alone, right? Kiva says she's painting with her laptop propped up beside her easel. Multitasking queen, too cool. So Phil, how you been? Okay, what's new with you over there? So here's our reference, and this is my thinking. I'm going to talk about composition. So composition is important, of course. So if you look at this image right here, it's real front and center, real boring, kind of Chuck Close kind of composition, makes me yawn, you know, equidistance. It really doesn't even add to the mood. So this is what I did in my decisions. Now, I moved her all the way to the left, and also I gave her a lot of negative space up here. And I did that because over to the left it's just a little more interesting because you have a little bit of negative space here and a lot here. You have no negative space here and a lot there. So you're creating some sort of balance, right? Interesting balance. Hey, Rick Lotta. How you doing, Canada? Good to see you, man. Oh, thank you, Rick. I appreciate it. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much for stopping by. And this is a good one because this is part one, guys, of the portrait in India ink. And I'm using now. Rick, if you're very new here, the paper we're using is called Dreadnought, and it is by De La Rowney. It's a cardstock, and here it is. See if I can get that for you where you can see it. Dreadnought Gray, and you can get that at Dick Blick. About 10 sheets, around $8, more or less. And then our main ink is the Higgins Waterproof India Ink, and today we are going in with the P.H. Martin's Bombay, reducing it a lot to the consistency of milk. Not skim milk, but milk. And we are using the Extreme Patriot Arrow, and this is perfect for laying in larger areas, and then coupled with the Sotar Slim 2020. It is like a killer combination, guys. Killer combination. Now, one of the things that we are doing is when we're laying in the white, it isn't as forgiving as the regular black India ink. So we have to be careful. We have to make sure that we're getting rid of the pencil lines when we can, because that will come back to haunt us. So let's see. See, even here, it's a little more difficult, but it's still early in the game. And so you want to be real mindful of that when you do this on your own. So I really want to thank Hey, Super Killer, how you doing? Good to see ya. Thanks so much for stopping by, as always. So, thanks everyone for joining Ink Flingers, the Facebook group, which is very exciting. I really appreciate it. And I really love all the comments and everything. It's just really great to see everybody's artwork. So, definitely, Rick, on Facebook, go to Ink Flingers public group, and we're there during the weekend. You know, if I'm not there, Wendy's there, and a lot of different people. So it's really great. It's a great conversation. I think we have almost 30 members now, which is nice. So I'm just calming down that white. You know what I mean? I mean, calming down the pencil marks. Now I projected this, but I didn't go crazy, guys. You know, not projecting every little shape. I want to still have my own interpretation. I want to be as loose as possible. More me, less machines. That's how I was taught. That's, you guys are getting that New York City, you know, National Academy Art Students League education out of me. So. Thanks, Wendy. I appreciate that. So, Stormin' Norman and Spendy Wendy. Pretty funny. Pretty cool. All right, so how about Sotar Slim Tim? That might be good. So Jake, how are you liking that that Sotar that you have? Are you enjoying it? Now, the pencil line, as you go, you know, just being careful is always good. Just lighten it up. We still can see it. Thanks, Wendy. So everybody's week has gone pretty well. It's Wednesday. That's good. Wednesday already. How's the weather out there in Canada there? Let's see. So Rick, in Victoria, how's the weather there? We are pretty cold today. Probably in the 30s here in the New York City metropolitan area. Norm says, Tim, didn't you say you were gonna mess with the turbine airbrush? Yes, I am. I'm gonna bring that out when you guys are least expecting it. I don't even know where it is, but that's gonna be. I gotta get that adapter for the Pache. So who's a Pache person out there? Because I'm kind of interested in just playing with those. Just get a feel. But I'm really digging these Badgers. This is Badger's my favorite airbrush company. Now let me go ahead and turn off my air conditioner. Believe it or not, it got too hot in here with the heat and I had to turn on the air conditioner, and now we're okay. So we'll have less distracting white noise, which is good. So you see, when you're doing this, guys, you want to make sure that you are letting the ink catch up to the surface. That's something that I learned from a really good airbrush artist. And he taught me always let that catch up to the surface. So Super Killer says that he messed with his turbine a few weeks back and could not get it to work anymore. Wow, see, that's it. Those things are really temperamental, I hear. And, might need some tweaking, some servicing or something. So what do you guys think of the white? I know it's a little radical, but the white's important in the beginning because you can't do the white over airbrush, over the Black India ink. It just wouldn't work. Wendy says was going to say 30th with the say with the AC. 30s with the AC. Yes, exactly. I'm a man of extremes, I guess. You know, extreme cold, extreme hot, and then I have to go ahead and regulate. It's kind of like my personality in a sense. But as you can see, I'm really getting rid of those pencil lines with the white. I don't have to do this so much when I'm just doing a painting with India ink, with the Black India ink. But this India ink is much more forgiving than, let's say, acrylic or the illustration paints by Createx. Oh, that's right. Well, now that's not too bad. And the beautiful winter. That is you have a beautiful country there, Rick. I really want to go to Canada. I really want to visit it and see what it's like. Because the people are just the coolest people I ever seen. I ever met. And we're going back, you're gonna have a little more tip dry with the white than you would with the Black India ink. This is such a good episode because it's how I started and my thought processes, right? So this is very important. And also how I finish a painting is really crucial too. To bring a painting home, that is very important. So I have photo paint, I have Corel Painter, and I am not knowing how to do any of this. I mean, I've been fooling around with it, but I'm going to be taking some online classes and really, I figure an hour a day in a year I should be pretty good. Remember, what you can do in a week we overestimate, but what we can do in a year we underestimate. So I figure in a year it should give me some really incredible advantages when working in airbrush or any medium for that matter. But just composing. So I'm really liking the way that the white is working. How's everything? Is there any kind of jittery? Is the feed really nice? I just want to make sure I'm getting proper bandwidth here. Oh, great. Thank you so much, Jake. I appreciate that. Now we're set up now to start going in with some value. And should I go in with this yet? I'm not so sure. I think that might not be the best idea. I want to keep everything really soft. And there's a really soft edge here on her lip. So I think if I come in with the freehand shield, I'll have a hard edge I really don't want. I can always come back later with the pastel pencil to get some nice hard edges. So this is basically a utilitarian thing. It's not for beautification at this point or likeness or anything. It's basically building up the white so that we have this white value and this gray value when we're working. Otherwise, the paper will not have the values that we're looking for. And with the India ink, if you go in with the India ink and then decide to come in with the white, with the India ink white, it's not going to work. You're going to get some really wicked blue shift, and that's not good for anybody. It's really weird too. It's like this really weird weird color you get with India ink. Different than, let's say, with acrylic. So Wendy says that she has a Wacom or a Wacom and don't know how to use it. We got to learn together, Wendy. Come on, 2019, we're going to become pros together. Okay? So what you learn, you teach me. What I learn, I teach you. Is that a deal? And let's see. So Gerald Mendez, Super Killer says Gerald Mendez does all his composing on a Wacom before he airbrushes a piece. See, I'm on the right track, guys. All right. I think we all should get on that bandwagon. I really think that we could do like really incredible, like fine art backgrounds. And okay, Wendy, it's a deal. Watch, me and Wendy are going to be having an online business next year, having to do with digital painting or something. That's it. Maybe a digital painting school, right, Wendy? I think we started something. All right, so back to regular art here. We are, yeah, that's so cool. No, I'm excited that you have it, Wendy. We can do it together. Anyone else out there, you know, get a tablet, we'll learn together. That would be great. Maybe we get a deal on an online class so we do get a bunch of us doing it. Then over here, you'll see in my reference, you know, we have a hard edge here. But I don't know, I just want to maintain the ability to have a soft edge, right? So let's go ahead and erase that pencil line. Like I said, this is a very interesting, I'm so glad you're here, guys, because this is a very interesting, you know, part one, more so than other part ones we've done. And Wendy says, actually, she has her son's critique or whatever it is. He doesn't know I have it. Oh my God. You have your son's critique? That's a really nice one. Unbelievable. That is really nice. I've seen them. Can't afford them yet, but that's down the line when I get good. Can't justify it when I'm not good. Not yet, but I taught myself everything else, guys. Except for painting. I had some really great teachers, so I can't take credit for that. So I'm really enjoying this Extreme Patriot, the Arrow. If you go ahead and purchase this and at usaairbrush.com and you use my code TimothyPSA, you'll get 10% off. This is a perfect complement for the Slim 2020. And Wendy says, oh, he's a Photoshop, Wendy's son's a Photoshop expert. Wow, that is really great. So you have a live-in teacher. That's fantastic. Well, he lives near you. Thank you so much, Wendy. And that code is TimothyPSA. So if you're interested into this airbrush, they have it there. And I highly recommend it. He just assumes. That's funny. Yeah, that's what happens when people are really good. They don't realize that not everybody is really good at it, right? So you can see I'm actually working on that together. Thank you so much, Wendy. That's Timothy PSA. Perfect. So check out this airbrush. It's really a beautiful thing, and probably 50% off of what you would pay for a similar eclipse. So definitely you want to check that out. And what I can do is I could start to build up some of that white here and there if I'm feeling brave, right? So let's see. So we're gonna make sure we have a nice flow here. Build up some of the white where it's a little brighter. I'm gonna stand for this, guys. Giving a little more intensity in that white. Oh man, super killer, that SBS Eclipse is beautiful. That side feed, I always say that feels like a micron to me. Just building up some of these whites. We can always tone it down a little bit. Just get some intensity that we're gonna be happy we put that in. See that? A little bit of intensity here and there. There we go. See, the light's coming from here, right? From this direction. So where this is most facing that light, you're gonna have more intensity of light, because it's not at an angle, it's straight on. So right now we can even start, we're painters of light, right? We're really not painters of people. Yes, Wendy says you can purchase a, I think it's something like $8. You can get a trigger that's a low trigger and put that there. And that's an easy modification. But I definitely feel you, you know, you're used to, you know, the regular size and height of the trigger, of course. But that shouldn't deter you from this airbrush. You'll love it. So inexpensive too. Not cheap, inexpensive. Like a really nice airbrush for the cost. Oh yeah, at the same website, usaairbrush.com. They sell the accessories, so you can get the trigger for it. Really cool. And anything you purchase on that website using that code, you'll get the 10% off, which is really nice. Putting in the white for her hair. Now, highlights I'm going to leave alone because that's going to be taken care of with the white pastel at the end. And we've got a little more powerful white right here. Want to make sure we hit that. White of the eye is going to be taken care of with pastel. No need to go ahead in there just yet. It's for the large areas where the pastel would kind of not look correct texturally. And if I want a light dusting, I just change my distance. I go further away. So Kiva says, Wendy, she's seen in ink chat that you said acetone changed the color of your cup. I haven't had that happen. Was it pure acetone? Interesting. Now, was it your cup to your airbrush or like a drinking cup? I'm interested too. I don't want her to have a shirt, even though, you know, we see this shirt. I think it's so much more interesting if she didn't have a shirt on. Oh, dollar store nail polish remover and acetone and water. It dulled it really bad. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's why whenever we use acetone to clean any part of the airbrush, always wipe it and flush it really good with water. And I just do a Q-tip and just go over, dip it in and just go ahead and get rid of any you know, dried ink or acrylic paint. That usually works very well. Yes, true, Kiva. Always rinse. Very true. And pay attention to where it's a little more intense with the white. So you can do it now and get that done. And Wendy says that she uses cotton swab to get it out and stopper on the left side. Oh, you're talking about the side feed airbrushes, yes. And then, okay, cool. Yes, immediately, that's perfect. Okay. See that, just a little bit right there, and I think if we establish that white here, it's going to go a long way. David Morton, he's the artist, really great airbrush artist and wonderful teacher, always said to let your paint or your ink catch up to the surface before you go over it again. And I think this is pretty much going to conclude our white application. I can't think of anywhere else that I need to apply. I think we're good. Maybe, okay, maybe right here. You see that little intense there? See, you want to get that intensity just above her eyebrow. That would be probably good to do. And if you're far away, you can be gradual. There we go. Okay, so I think we're okay with the white pastel for now. I mean the white India ink, not white pastel. None of that yet. So let's go ahead and we're gonna mark our Patriot. make sure I put the cap on in case it falls. You don't want a horrible, at least if it falls, you don't have to purchase another needle. Okay, so let's break out the Sotar. Give me a moment, guys, and we're going to mix our initial ink ratio. So here's the Sotar 2020. I used Bradley. Good to see you. How's it going, man? So great that you're here. Fantastic. Jake says he figured out the painting process with the candies, and you need to use local color theory to colorize them. That sounds really exciting. Yeah, and looks really good too. Definitely. So what we're going to do is I have my Sotar. Let's go ahead and connect to the air sauce. Not air sauce as in tomato sauce, air sauce as in S-O-U-R-C-E. Forgive me for my New York accent, guys. So, okay, so we'll put that there. Where is this from? We'll just put that over there. Okay, so, I don't want to pre-mix the ink. I want you guys to see it as I'm doing it. I find in the very beginning, guys, it's important to go ahead and be as light as possible with your dilution, your ink ratio. And if you need to be a little bit darker, that's fine. But in the initial stages, the lighter you are, the more forgiving the initial layers are. If you go too dark, there's nowhere to go. So let's go ahead and get our India ink, wherever it is. Where is it? It was right here before. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Okay, so what I want to do is 3 to 4. So that's going to be 3 eyedroppers, 3 drops of the India ink, and 3 full 3-inch eyedroppers of water. But I want to do 3 to 4, so 3 full eyedroppers of ink to 4 full eyedroppers of water. This is a very wet ink, meaning more water, very little ink. So you want to make sure you don't oversaturate the surface. You want to apply that, and as I said earlier, let the paint catch up to the surface, as Mr. David Morton always said. So we're going to go 3 to 4, so we'll times it by 3. We'll do 9 and 12, so 9 of these drops of ink. One. Okay, this one is running out. Let's see if we'll open up a brand new India ink, wherever it is. Actually, no, it must be in the other studio. So rather than do that, I'll just use my older ink. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're going to do 9 and 12. So we have, that's a lot of water here. And then we're just going to take our 3-inch eyedropper, and we're going to do 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now you never really get a full. It's always a little bit less. So we'll do 13. So this is going to be a very thin mixture, but trust me, over the several months, I found that a very thin initial ink ratio is really good for control, because we really want to sketch in the beginning. Wendy asked, do I use distilled water? Nope, right out of the tap. No problem whatsoever. Let's see here. Good question, Wendy. What type of glove am I wearing? This came with my new Huon It's a Huon sketching tablet. So really cool. So I got a really good deal on Amazon, and I paid for it with my affiliate links, which you guys really help when you buy stuff on Amazon through the links that I have. So this way they give me a teeny tiny commission, but I can go ahead and buy stuff to make the channel better. So it's really cool how that works. So now that I have my mixture, I just shake it up like this, nothing crazy. I don't recommend doing it over your artwork, but I'm just doing it to show you guys. Let's go ahead and put 2 drops of this into our Sotar. There we go. Not more than 2, 2.5. You know, because 2 goes a long way with the Sotar, and it has a very small well, so you don't want to spill it out. Let's go ahead and do some test strokes. You know, the Sotar is just, look how beautiful right off the bat. I used this morning, just rinsed it out with some water, didn't do anything, and look how beautiful it sprays. Love this brush, guys. I am looking forward to trying all of the Sotars. That's going to be my goal for 2019. Is seeing how the other Sotars are. And okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're just going to sketch, guys. We're not going to do anything too crazy. Let's do some really nice big areas. And as you can see, since we have such a light dilution, we have a very forgiving tone. Everything's going to be very light, and you're not going over the same area too long. Actually, hit it and move on. That's what I'm going to be doing. There are some areas where the tone of the paper is just fine, and you want to find those areas and definitely utilize the paper. It's going to be a much better look if you utilize where the toned paper is. Remember when we did the Boxer Girl, where we went and erased when the ink was still wet on the surface, and that came back to haunt us. So let's all learn from my mistake then. How beautiful the white is working now. What I want to do is I want to go ahead and calm down some of these lines, projection lines. Not get rid of them, just calm them down a little bit. They're just guidelines. This is an important area right here, crucial area. So let's go ahead and start working on that area. Everything's going to be look so dark next to this white. It's going to be looking dark, but that's simultaneous contrast, and you'll see as we go over as the other paintings we have worked on together. As the painting progresses, what used to look dark is really light, and it's very interesting. What we're doing really is painting with a lot of dagger strokes. There we go. You see how we're just sketching. Yes, Bradley asked if I start with the white ink. Sometimes I do. In areas, in paintings where there's just this flood of white, this whole white area, it wouldn't translate well with white pastel. So you want to do the white ink first, because a large area like this, when we start painting, it's going to have overspray over here. When we go white, it's going to make some really weird coloration, some blue shifts. So we're sort of circumventing the blue shifts like a chess player, thinking a couple of moves ahead. How I would normally paint is I would wait to put the white, but technically I'm making the decision to put in the white right away. And Wendy asks, does the white work on the gunmetal, or is it too... Oh no, white works really good on the gunmetal, but the gunmetal is a lot more forgiving than this Dreadnought. Gunmetal is darker, so you have a lot less of a blue shift, which is interesting. For some reason, just true tests, you know? You want to make sure that where the value is close to the paper, you leave that value there. That's important. Like I said, I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing with the right side of this painting, but that's good for interpretation. It's one of the things I'm doing with this, being a little more loose than tight. Superkiller says, Tim, what's your opinion on the sepia style underpaintings versus black and white? Wow, I love sepia paintings. I just think they're not as forgiving, right? And they're a lot harder to accomplish. You have to use a lot more white. And I don't know. What I really like better than sepia, actually I like black and white because of how the ink works with the surface. But what I really love is Venetian red. What the Venetians did, you know, like Titian, Veronese. They did a red, like an earth red underpainting to give the impression of blood underneath when they glaze over it. So that was interesting. I also see some pastel guys actually put green underneath flesh. And you get that vibration because that green color, the green variation is the direct complement of the flesh color. So that's rather interesting too. So you can really, as you know, right, Superkiller, we can go pretty far into underpaintings and do different things. But my idea of an underpainting is just taking care of the values first, and this way you can go in with color later. But with the underpainting, it's so crucial to make sure that your values are a couple of values lighter than your actual finished painting will be, or your reference, because when you put color over it, it's going to darken the values. Yeah, you got to try the Venetian red. Look at the work of Titian, Veronese. Who else did it as far as the Venetian painters? Just some great stuff. Titian and Veronese are the most famous of the Venetian painters. So be loose, definitely. We want to be loose, but we don't want to be too loose. So you want to still find some shapes as you go. But right now I'm sort of making sure that I'm not going too dark in those areas that's the value of the actual paper. This sketching line, I'm not too sure what was up with that. So I don't like it, and I don't think it lends anything to the reference of the painting. So I'm just going to kill that. we go. So Wendy says green is secondary, but I think they just mix blue and yellow. Actually, you could do everything with blue, red, and yellow, and white and black. Very true. Very, very true. It is a secondary color. The green they were using was interesting because it vibrated with the flesh color above the green with the flesh colors of the pastel. I really found it interesting. Very, very bizarre technique, but it had an interesting look. But my question is it interesting because the artist knows how to paint, or does that really work, right? I'm not sure. Remember, this is a very wet pastel. Very wet India ink. The ratio is very high, water to ink. So you want to make sure we are just go over it once. Don't over wet the surface. It could happen very easily, and it could just really cause problems for you. But I kind of like the way she's sort of coming out of the watery background here. It's kind of fun. So, let's see. Do we do any kind of freehand shields just yet? I think so. I think we could. But we want to very lightly, far away from the surface. Nothing too crazy. You don't want to make any commitments just yet, I don't think. And we're going to erase as we go. So closer to the surface. This way we could still maintain that definition of that lip, but not to the point where it's a hard edge, right? And we're going to get rid of those really harsh pencil lines. But you can see that the projection was very light. I didn't really go too far with the projection. I want a lot of me into this painting. Remember, the closer you are, you can still sketch and get the definition of the shapes. And then as you go further away, you can soften that. Always paint in 3 dimensions, okay? Meaning, you know, this way, that way, but also further away and close. And also, you know, how much you pull back on the trigger. There's just a lot of different ways. The air pressure, make sure you utilize all the different ways of changing value in your airbrushing. It's going to go far, you know? It's going to give you more tools. And you're going to have a lot easier time when you learn to paint 3-dimensionally. In 3 dimensions, not 3-dimensionally, but paint in 3 dimensions. See, I'm going real close, and that's how I'm getting the fine lines. Not just lowering my air pressure, but changing my distance as well. Very interesting. This is such a painterly way of doing airbrush, guys. And I want you guys to try it because I know a lot of you do that already. But, you know, it's okay. The photorealism and stuff's great. But also look at the work of Thomas Eakins and Rembrandt. Ask yourselves, how would Thomas Eakins or Rembrandt, how would they paint? Or Veronese or Titian. How would these artists from 600 years, how would they handle the airbrush? I mean, you would have some painting like Drew Blair, but I know you would have a lot of variation. A lot of people, these artists would have done their own thing, would have innovated in their own direction. And I think that's one of the things about airbrushing right now. I think as far as innovation, there's not much of it happening because we have such strong teachers out there. But I want to advocate to do some really strong, strong, strong experimentation and look at things differently. I haven't heard anyone talk in a while. Are you guys still out there? Just give me a quick shout out so I know I'm not having any technical problems. But as you can see with this mixture of 3 drops of India ink to 4 full droppers of water, I have this beautiful, really, oh, thanks Wendy. Okay, I'm glad because I was like, uh-oh, no one's talking. So, but yes, look how forgiving this is. As far as if I went too dark, oh man, I would really have a much harder time. And it's all about, can we do this in a way where it's not so hard? And this is, those of you who are just learning the airbrush, this method is really great for you guys. Oh, great. So Bradley, I'm glad you're still here eating the crackers. Very cool. The wife is going to be mad. Are you having some coffee with those crackers there, Bradley? That's so funny. So we're running out of ink because with the, see, pluses and minuses, right? Plus, this feels like a mechanical pencil. It really is great. The Sotar 2020 Slim. Nothing feels like this, guys. So if you can get a chance to purchase one of these for $100, do it on usaairbrush.com with my discount. You're going to love it. The drawback is you put 2 drops of India ink, so you have to go ahead and refill it quicker than other airbrushes, but that's okay because I can live with that. It keeps you more mindful of what you're doing, what I'm doing. So I put 2 drops of India ink there. And you don't want to do that too close to your airbrush, but I'm just doing that to show you guys. Okay. Never ever test your first sprays on your artwork. And those of you who've been watching my live streams, you know the drill. Learn from my bitter mistakes, my friends. Yes, exactly. 2 drops is much. And think of how far with the airbrushes we use, with that wonderful Patriot Extreme and this, how inexpensive it is. I was talking about those who are new to airbrushing. This is actually, to me, I really feel is the best method. And I'm really excited because I have nothing to hide. I'm going to show you guys everything without a doubt. There's no reason for me not to share the whole thing with you. Now, these live streams are every week at the same time, which is very cool, 9:30, and I love doing them, so that's why I'm very, very consistent and enjoying them. I enjoy hanging out with you guys, but once a week you can see a different way, my different way of doing airbrush that isn't mainstream. But doing it in India ink and learning this way, you are going to learn like the mechanics of airbrushing, of how to lay down more value, less value, how to go with distances, how to work with finer lines and broader areas. All these different things are really going to help you before you get into color. That's so important. It really is. Uh-oh, Wendy says you're going to be sleeping on the couch with the crackers, Bradley. That's really funny. Uh-oh, so here I made some erasing, but you don't want to erase before you actually utilize that drawing. So you might go back in with pencil just to get that nostril and then erase. Erase after you use them as guidelines. Jake says you gotta go. Watch the rest of it tomorrow. Have a great night, Jake. Always great to talk to you. Thank you so much for stopping by, man. All right, so let's go ahead and start putting in her eyes. That's always our focus, right? So we want to first make sure that the drawing is sound. Never trust the drawing, especially when we're, committing ourselves like this. But with this mixture of, 3 drops to 4 full eyedroppers of water, we're close to golden. So that's really good. Test always on the practice surface. So just show you where we are, where we're going. See, my thinking, guys, is I'm not sure whether or not I want to get this delineation of value. I'm thinking of just making it dark all the way, more like a Caravaggio. So I'm not sure. I'm going to actually play with it in Photoshop, and then I'll decide to make that decision later. The reason why that decision wasn't made right away is because I was initially going to do Maggie from The Walking Dead, but I couldn't find a suitable photo that had enough definition. So that's so last minute I picked this particular picture. So that's the reason why I haven't already made that decision, but that's okay. So I just want to let you guys know my thinking on this. But notice the amount of control that you have with this Sotar and the India ink. If you were going with, let's say, Create Text, Wicked, Detailed Black or something like that, you're not going to have the control that we're having now. Definitely not. And so that's one of the reasons why, I'm so excited about this technique. So let's go ahead and we'll start with this eye here. And we'll just do the outer part of her iris. Remember, this is a very wet mixture, so we don't want to oversaturate. Let that catch up. Plenty of time to get black, plenty of time, so don't go ahead of ourselves. Want to make sure that the eyes are very similar in size and how much of the circle we're seeing, or the ellipse, because it's in perspective. Even though it's right at us, she's still in perspective. And of course we're going to erase as we go, but only after we go ahead and hit those areas. Move around a lot. I was always taught to move around a lot. We have new problems when painting with airbrush, and we want to make sure that we don't oversaturate the surface. Get too dark too early. So you got these dagger strokes. from what we were doing with Tara from The Walking Dead, this is a much more traditional approach, much more of, you know, your standard portrait painting. So Bradley says he's been enjoying the Facebook page. Thank you so much, Bradley. I love it too. I think you're all doing some amazing stuff. I love seeing your artwork and your great comments. I'm so excited. The first week was such a success, wasn't it? I really feel it was. And this way the party could continue during the week. You know, it's not just on Wednesday, although I do have a lot of fun hanging with you guys on Wednesday. Wouldn't trade that for the world. Hey guys, great tip I wanted to share with you. This is something I learned during the week. I don't know if I talked about it last week. Maybe I did. So, one of the things I'm going to go ahead and talk about. So let's say we're doing an arm, right? Like that. So just humor me, that's an arm, right? So let me lower the value here. Okay, so you see it better. So when you are doing, let's say, you're doing a freehand shield, right? And this is crucial. And I found it makes a big difference. If you're doing your freehand shield and you follow the shield, it looks good, but I found that it looks even better when we don't follow the freehand shield, the contour, but sort of do it this way. And then you get a much more realistic look than that. Let me see if I can blow it up to show you guys. But this is something that, let me lower the, just want to, see, if we were going to go ahead and just follow the contour, we have that look, right? Can you guys see? Okay, see, okay, there we are. Sorry. So you have this look here, sort of more mechanical look. But then if you, let's say, do this, not follow the contour, but sort of go in, you kind of have a much more realistic look. This is much more mechanical, and this is much more of a beautiful edge. So I hope that makes a lot of sense. And sorry about that. I wasn't able to show you. Hey, Bhuthpati, how you doing? From India. I remember you when I used to do the live streams during the early morning because it was better for you guys because of the time difference. Welcome back, Bhuthpati. I remember you. Very nice. See, nice people I always remember. Actually, what I'm doing with the airbrush, it has to do with how we use a freehand shield. So I'll go back here, and so here's a freehand shield, and then rather than just follow the contour with the freehand shield like that, you get much more realistic look if you go in like this. See that? And then crawl up. It's much better than this more mechanical look. You get more of the texture of skin. So definitely try and do that. Try and incorporate it, see how you like it. And I think that will work. So definitely. That's what I found. So I wanted to share that with you guys. So back to our regularly scheduled program. Okay, so right now things are going at a nice clip, so I'm pretty happy. So Bhuthpati, how you been? How's everything over there? And what we're doing is getting rid of our pencil lines, maybe re-establishing the pencil lines. Like I said, you don't want to lose your drawing too soon. Hey, we all started with pencil, right? So it's always best to make some of your bigger decisions with the pencil. There we go. And let's go back in there. Now here, definitely as you go to the inner part of her eye, there's hardly any edge difference. So you don't want to create edges, right? You don't want to, let our subconscious get in the way. We can't all be Jackson Pollock, right? Some of us have to calm down like us. We have to calm down our subconscious. Start establishing some of the drawing with the airbrush too, with the airbrush as well. Don't oversaturate, very important. We're just sketching. Sketching and moving around. It's just so beautiful how soft the edges get. We want to lose that. We want to really enjoy visually what's happening. Edward Hopper said, I think he said one of the most beautiful things is painting the sunlight as it hits the wall from a window. I thought that was, now I'm definitely paraphrasing. But just the beauty of sight, that's enough to be a painter. Go ahead and establish that nostril there. You see how you can pull away to get those really wonderful fades. Bradley says, when I paint off camera, do I paint on flat on a table like that, or do you paint on an easel? So good question, Bradley. Bradley, I was trained on an easel. So since I was like a teenager, I painted, straight up and down vertically. Interesting enough, about a year ago, but it's going on 2 years that I have my YouTube channel, like every week that I create a video. So for that, a lot of it, maybe like a year and a half, I started doing tutorials flat like this. Now I actually prefer working flat. I do like working on a flat surface, you don't have as much of a physical ability to move around. And I do like being at the easel. You have that beautiful ability to move around, be a little more of a physical activity. With this, it's much more controlled and refined. How about yourself? Do you like working on an easel, or Bradley, you feel better or more comfortable working flat like this? And we're just going to very lightly start getting rid of some of these lines. No rush whatsoever. So Wendy, you know what my library card is going to be using a lot of stuff on digital painting. So I'm going to be doing that when I get off here. I'm going to go on my online to my libraries extension, different libraries in several counties I get to borrow from. So I'll be going in their catalog looking for books on digital art. So it's going to be interesting, that's for sure. We have a lot of work ahead of us. Bradley says he has never tried working flat like that. I would give it a shot. I would definitely give it a shot when you have an airbrush with, what airbrush are you using right now, Bradley? Do you have a one that has a cover, like a gravity fed? Yeah, Wendy, that's gonna be good. We're gonna definitely work on that. That's gonna be a lot of work. We have a nice hard edge here in her nostril to work on. The clips, is that the side feed or the gravity fed? If you have the gravity fed, go ahead and go to town, make sure that cup is down and try it and you'll have no problem. If you have the side feed, then I definitely would tell you be very wary. You would definitely need to make sure you don't spill on your artwork, you know. And I had that happen, and Wendy has had that happen. About a week, Wendy says I better watch out. There's about a week I have nothing to do, so I might just take the Wacom out. Oh man, that's going to be great. Then you can teach me, Wendy. So that would be perfect. So I hope you do that. Get that Wacom out of there. The gravity fed. So make sure you put that cap on there and you're going to be fine. And give it a try. Don't do it on anything you've been working on for a long time, because you're going to have that pretty soon. You're going to have that one time when you spill. It's just going to happen. I've ruined a couple of pieces that way. So it is rough working on that, working on a vertical surface. Any of you guys out there work on a flat horizontal surface, I should say? So I really think that we're getting pretty far with this. I mean, that is pretty far along. So I'm pretty happy with that white. So I'm going to keep this, guys, as a on my YouTube channel, so you can go ahead and look at it. So I want you to try that white as well. I'm also doing a video that right now I'm doing the leg video, the video of the legs. That's going to be a full video. Hopefully by Christmas I should have this one. I videotaped this whole thing from beginning to end, and this is on Masonite. So this is going to be about a 3-hour video where I'll be talking about what I'm doing, everything like that. So this would be a fun video. Also, I want to touch on this piece, which I did start editing a little bit, but this is like a 5-hour video. See if I can show you. And I did that from beginning to end. And this one I really talk about and show, similar how I began with the white. So beginning with the white is really fantastic because you sort of get an alabaster look, especially when you have large areas of white. If you have large areas of white, the pastel is not going to cut it. The pastel works for those little pops of light and highlights. But for those larger areas, the white India ink in the beginning is the way to go. So this is going to be a video. Actually, I think this video is going to do really well. It's going to be a 5-hour video from beginning to end. And this painting is called Pre-Raphaelite Beauty. So, and they're going to be inexpensive, guys. I'm going to have an online store, so you guys will be able to go ahead and purchase them. So, really fantastic. So, I wish I had that when I was learning airbrush. So, back to the painting at hand. Oh, Rick says, can't wait to see the video. Thank you so much. Oh, I really appreciate that, Rick. Yeah, I had fun doing that. That was a very quick painting. Some paintings work, but that one was on Masonite, which is a little bit different in my approach. But you can see with Masonite, you have some advantages. So you have disadvantages and advantages. We're working with paper. You have the immediacy of paper. Just how beautiful the texture is, and it just has a certain look and feel. The way that the paper sort of absorbs the ink with the airbrush is just really beautiful. Looks like a real beautiful pencil drawing. Now with the Masonite, like you saw with the foot and the legs and the foot, that's done with Masonite, with marble dust, with a texture. And I was able to use Frisket film, and it just really, you can really do a lot of things with edges and stuff. It's really a lot of fun. I actually, Bradley, I do have a video, 2 videos on my YouTube channel. So they're older videos. Look for them. I believe they're done in 2008 or 2009. There's one on how I prepare the Masonite, and then following it is actually how I go ahead and apply the gesso mixture with marble dust onto the Masonite. So that's already there. So definitely enjoy that. And if you have questions, you let me know. I'll be more than happy to help you out. Okay, so right now we're going to go ahead and work on some of those really beautiful reflected lights, but we have to be very careful. So very careful and subtle. And you see the Kneaded Eraser is very soft. If I went in with this or this, it would really look terrible. So you want to, oh, where can you get the marble dust? At Dick Blick. It's by Fredericks. It's by Fredericks. It comes in a 5-pound bag, no, 4-pound bag. And I'll show you exactly how to mix that in that video, in those videos that are already there. You want a thick gesso. Blick sells a artist quality thick acrylic gesso. It has to be waterproof. If not, the whole thing's not going to work. But definitely you want to have a nice thick gesso, because you're going to be watering it down. 1 part gesso, 1 part water, and then between 15 and 18 tablespoons of marble dust. You could use a blender, or you can put that in a like a jar and shake that up really good, really well. Make sure you get all from the bottom, and then apply that with a roller. And it shows that on the video. So really enjoy that. After you watch it, you ask any questions, I will answer you right away. Right away. Okay, so let's go here. So we still want to make sure, even though I have this wonderful glove, we still want to make sure that we don't deposit any oils on our surface. So you can get the marble dust at blickart.com or Dick Blick. Now, Bradley, are you here in the States or are you in Canada? I believe you're in the States, right? And it's just ground marble dust, and they get that 4-pound bag. I believe it's like 18 bucks. You can even get it on Amazon. It's a little bit more expensive with Amazon, but if you have Prime, you get free shipping, so it's all good. Okay, so we want to make sure we're slowly getting rid of our pencil lines because they are not serving us anymore. We already established those shapes with the airbrush and the ink, and this way we can start developing it. Oh, thank you, Wendy. I appreciate that. And on my blog, actually, and in a description field here and on the blog, I'll go ahead and put an affiliate link for that marble dust, Bradley. And this way, if you use that, it'll take you to Amazon, and you will get the same low price, the free shipping if you have Prime, and if you and then I get a small commission, so you help out the channel, and you don't pay any extra. So that's an option if you want to go that way. That's cool. So you see, we have plenty of time. Look how dark everything looks, but this is going to be really light. $8.98 for the same amount on Blick, which is pretty good. The only thing with Blick is that you have to get a certain amount before you get free shipping. The shipping's a kick in the pants. That's the rough thing, right? Wendy, you said, what is it? When you get to what amount do you when you get to what amount do you go ahead and pull the trigger on Blick when your shopping cart? Some people like 60. I'm like $50 I pull the trigger. Unless I'm really broken, I need paper. Yes, defiantly is true. And what I'm also doing is making sure I can use this eraser and still pull on get some of these really beautiful edges. Right, the shipping does go crazy with Blick if you're under 35. If you're going to do under 35, you're better off paying a little bit more and doing it on Amazon Prime. That's what I do. You know, Amazon Prime with that free shipping. So I ordered that tablet Sunday night, guys. Like really late. I think it was something like 11 o'clock. I got it the next day around 12. Of course I was at work, but that was some really cool, that was really cool delivery. And now we're going to basically see where we can go ahead and kill some of these hard lines. Oh, the tablet I purchased was, let me get the box. This was actually 25% off. So this tablet is by Huion. That's Huion. And it is the Professional Graphics Tablet, the 1060 Plus. And that's really cool. So it's not the best, but for the money, it's the best that you could get. So it was definitely under $60 with everything. Interesting. So Kiva asked a question, on my online store, will I be selling prints of my work and original artwork? I definitely will be selling original artwork. Even some of the pieces that are in my live streams that I've done will be for sale. So that would be cool. Thank you so much. That's such a great question, Kiva. I appreciate that. So that's really nice. And yeah, that's something that, you know, I'm going to be offering supplies. So let's say if you don't want to buy 4 pounds of marble dust, maybe you can get a 1 pound bag from me that would be less and you wouldn't get killed with shipping or something like that. So those are different things that are hard to find. You know, with the India ink, it comes in a 2-ounce, but I might be able to do a kit where you get the ink, the erasers, and other things, the paper, so you can do your project without buying all the supplies in bulk. You can just get it for that one, for just trying it out. So that's different ideas, definitely. Wendy says that she has an iPad and could order a pencil for $100. So wondering if that would be better than a Wacom. No, I'm new to this, but I really think the Wacom is really good because you're utilizing your, you know, either PaintShop Pro or Corel Painter or Photoshop. So it's really the software that you're using and having the ability with an actual computer. Wendy says we should order a barrel and a barrel of ink. Now that's a lot of ink. Oh my God. 1 barrel of ink, please. Oh man, you don't want that to be opening up during shipping. Be like the Valdez. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and lighten up some of these pencil lines here. This is just a very, yeah, those softwares are like 500. You can get Corel Paint. Let me see exactly what program that is. It's Corel Painter Essentials. You can get that, which is pretty cool. I think that is only like maybe $50. It's not very expensive, that's for sure. Let's see. We're going to add sauce, and we are going to, let's see if I have screen capture. Okay, Google Chrome, so that's my website. That's interesting. Let's try this, guys. Let's see. So I'm doing a screen capture here, and I don't know if that's working. Let's see. It's supposed to be a screen capture. That is not working. So it actually is supposed to do my screen, but I don't think that's actually working. So that's something I have to learn with XSplit. So we'll just get rid of that, and I'll just remove that. Okay, cool. So let's go back to our painting here. Hey Willie, good to see you. How you doing? So great. How you been, Willie? How was your week? So when Kiva's saying she's also trying to figure out the digital art stuff too. You, me, and Wendy, we're gonna really, and anyone else who wants to jump on board, we're gonna actually utilize the digital age to enhance our painting, our compositions. So anyone else want to join, definitely we're going to work on this hard edge using this freehand shield here, and then I can go ahead and erase it once I got that freehand shield. There we go. Now see, that looks really dark as the pencil line underneath. There we go. And then this is interesting. So we're gonna, like I said, you know, some things you want to, so Wendy's gonna corner her son, who is a digital art genius. That's good. And then I'm going to learn from Wendy. Oh, Willie, thank you so much. Willie said that the painting's looking good. little bit different, and you'll be able to look at that later because I'm going to put this up on the YouTube channel and on my blog, so no worries, you won't miss anything, Willie. In the beginning, I went ahead with the Bombay White India Ink by P.H. Martin's, and I used this new one, which is the let me change the camera here. So here I used this, the Extreme Patriot Arrow by Badger, which is a very good airbrush. I believe it's a 0.5 needle head assembly, so it's great for backgrounds and you get really good control, so I really enjoyed that. Let me just fix that. There we go. Okay, so fixing that camera. Great. Okay, fantastic. Now looks like I lost. There's always bugs, right? In the okay, so let's go ahead and fix the bugs because I lost you guys in chat. So this really stinks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the chat and bring it back. So let's see if I can get you back. Okay, I'll get you back in a second. All I got to do is reauthorize. You know, there's always these little bugs in every live stream session. It's just new technology. I can prepare till the cows come home, and there's still going to be something, right? Let's see, paintedglyphs@gmail.com. Hit next, and I'll see your comments in just one moment, guys. Okay. There we go. Okay, you guys are back. Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so that was, you know, it's like technical support on the fly. It's not easy. That's one of the harder things, I think, is our live streams. I mean, to do it with different cameras and everything. But it's a lot of fun, and I think it's such a wonderful way to you know, talk to people and share technique and everything like that. So, and thank you so much for that wonderful comment, Willie. I appreciate that very much. What's really good is I established that really nice light because, Willie, this value is it's sort of a, I would say maybe a number 4, maybe 3 or 4. Or in the other direction, no, probably like a 5 or a 6 value. So I would never be able to get those whites. And if I didn't apply these whites, the values would be drawn off. So that's why in this case, I used white right away before any other value for 2 reasons. To make sure that I can gauge the values correctly. Also, once I put down this value, if I want to put white over that, you're going to get this really weird blue shift, and we want to avoid that. So this way is like chess, sort of thinking several moves ahead, you know? So it's a pretty cool method, and I think it's very subtle, and I do like it. So I think it's something that you guys should try, and I think you'll really love it. Just make sure that you want the consistency of this to milk. So in the beginning of the video, I had shown you guys how I mix it. So I was pretty detailed about that. It's not exact, just detail on how I, you know, how I get to that milky consistency. Sketchbook Pro is now free? That's fantastic. Is that a good program? Because free's right at my alley. Let's see. So let's go ahead and erase the contour of this eye. Actually, we can just tap it. We don't have to erase. We can just tap it to gently pull away the graphite from the paper. Now, I didn't put white here in the eye because in little areas, the pastel pencil is beautiful for that. It's the larger areas that if I was going to put pastel in the larger areas, I don't think it would translate well. Wendy says that it was with the drawer program with her Wacom, but it used to cost around $50. Okay, cool. And that's free for everyone to download, is that correct? This is all going to be very dark with her eyebrows, so no worries to go ahead and pull that. And one of the things, Willie, I talked about early in the video is I'm not sure what my decision making is going to be, whether or not I do like a Caravaggio and just have this sort of blend out so you don't see any distinction between this cheek and the background, or as a reference is to go ahead and have that distinction. I don't know, I kind of like the drama of that. So still up in the air as to exactly what I'm going to do. Let's get this. I love that it went free. That's really cool. So I'm just going to draw a little bit with the eraser. At this stage, I'm just being very light with the eraser because remember, we're using a really light mixture. Now, in the beginning, I always said that you want to work. I'm sort of changing a little bit the beginning. Your beginning, when you start doing the ink, you want to do 3 drops of India ink with 4 full eyedroppers of the 3-inch water eyedropper. This guy right here. So that 3 to 4 is going to give you a really nice, forgiving, light wash. And that's going to help you you know, just do some sketching and not making commitments in the early going. In this one, Willie, I'm not going to add color, but I am going to pretty soon. And I'm actually going to do some things which is going to be pretty cool. Is I want to show you guys, I know if you saw my latest video, I'm pretty sure you did, Willie. Did you see my latest video I did? Of the state of the YouTube address. Not the first one last week, but the one I just did on Saturday. I want to just work on Photoshop where everything's in black and white, but the channel of red, so just red shows up very delicately, let's say in the nostril or the lips, and do stuff like that, and then slowly add color. And then, you know, from no saturation of color, and then slowly we work more and more with color as we go on. And I think that would be such a great transition. So yes, so those pictures I shown, something like that, and this is a good transition into that because it is so subtle in black and white. Let me see here. So I'm just going to see if I could go to media. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out in pictures, see if I can find that for you. And also someone else if they haven't seen that video. But you see here how, you know, sort of like that, we can take, you know, a black and white, and then the program will actually do that, which will actually block out all the colors except for red. So you get this beautiful pinkish hues here, and I think that would look really good if we did that with the airbrush. So that's pretty exciting. So that's what I'm thinking of doing. So definitely this is a response to that and going in that direction, as opposed to some of those really harsh. I want to do some really subtle things, utilizing the strengths of this India ink with the paper. And then we'll do some really harsh black and whites when we go ahead and work with the Masonite. And the Masonite is going to be really good because we could use the Frisket film, and we could do sequential masking. We could use the Masonite to get this sort of skin pore texture. I'll show you guys how to do that. So all that's very cool stuff. I can't believe it's 11:30 already. Did this live stream go by quick or what, guys? This one went extremely fast. Or is it just me? I'm the one having too good of a time. Let me go ahead and get rid of that picture. So let's see here. Make sure. Okay, so I hope you guys have a good week, and I hope see you guys on the Facebook group, which is Ink Flingers. And it's just Ink Flingers, and it's the public Facebook group. And go on Facebook and you'll be able to share your work, comment on your work, and reply to other members' comments. All you have to do is show up. Either me or Wendy will go ahead and approve you. So it's going to be very cool. So definitely do that. And so Wendy, have a great night, and so glad you made it. So sorry you had trouble getting here. I'm going to go download the Autodesk Sketchbook for digital drawing. Wow, that's going to be exciting. And Kiva, have a great night, and really had a lot of fun. This went by really fast for me. I wish the rest of my day would go by this fast. Am I right, guys? So I will see you. If you haven't already, email me at paintedglyphs@gmail.com, and I'll send you my ink ratios. And this is something that took me a long time to make, but my ink to water ratio to get the values from the really lightest light to the darkest dark. So that's going to be great. Super Killer, take care of yourselves. It's been great, guys. Bradley and Brian, Willie, make sure I don't miss anybody. Kiva, Wendy, Jake is already gone, and we had Phil and Rick. Rick, it was great talking to you. I think that was the first time we talked. So thank you guys for making this Thursday special, and I will talk to you later. Take care, guys.